Hi Coimbatore, and I'm so excited today because I'm with the Iron Man. So no, you're not thinking about the red suit man, but this is the triathlon champion Iron Man. We have James Lawrence with us. James is a really inspiring guy, and I feel so privileged to interview him. Hi James, how are you, and how's India?
So far, India's been great. I am great. Everybody's been really, really nice, and it's been a interesting culture to be put into, but I'm loving it.
So James, how did you start doing triathlon? Because it's so it's not easy thing to do. Like you have to swim, and you have to then do bicycling, then you have to start running. I mean, a 10 minute of each is gonna exhaust you like something. So you're gonna do that like a whole day in a triathlon. So how did you start this?
Yeah, so an Ironman is a 3.8 kilometer swim, 180 kilometer bike, and then a 42 kilometer run. So it takes a long time to do all of that. But for me, I just started really, really basic, and I just did a 4 mile or a 5K run, and just really started to fall in love with all three sports. But I just started really basic, really short, and just learned. And it took me a long time, but then I started doing Ironmans, and then it kind of evolved, and now I'm doing a lot of Ironmans. But really, to do anything, you want to start really small, and that's what I did. I just started with a really small race.
So how is the training for triathlon, and how did you train yourself?
Yeah, the training is, it takes a lot of time to train for a full Ironman, but you have to do a lot of swimming, a lot of biking, a lot of running. But what a lot of people don't understand is you have to do a lot of strength training too. And so we're in the gym, we're doing weights, but I think the variety is good. And so depending on how close we are to the race or what phase of training we're at, we'll do either really fast stuff or really long stuff. So it's great because we get to mix it up.
So you're two Guinness World Record holders, and you must be the only person on earth to do 50, 50, 50. So how is this experience, and how do you keep challenging yourself, and don't you feel bored at any time?
Yeah. Sometimes the training it gets bored, but like in the presentation I just gave, you have to become an expert at the basics. Sometimes the basics get boring, but those basics will lead to success. And yeah, I started off just with the simple running, but it ended up being a couple world records, and now I'm the only one to ever do 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states.
So doing the 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states, how did you prepare yourself? Was it a straight run into the 50 days, or you had a huge planning before that? How was it?
Yeah, there was over 2 years worth of planning once we'd already broken the world records. And so that's how big the goal was, is we were already incredibly fit and we had a great team around us, but it took an additional 2 years just to get ready to do all the logistics and physically and mentally in order to be able to accomplish that.
So, how old are you?
Right now I'm 41, and we accomplished it 2 years ago. So when I did the 50, I was 39.
So how do you keep yourself fit even at this age,
Yeah, it's just consistency. On stage, I just said the secret to success is hard work, but the other secret to success is doing a lot of little things consistently over a long period of time. And I think that's what people miss, is they're not willing to put in the work and the time that it takes to do something great.
Would you like to do an Ironman in India, or have you done it before?
There's actually no Ironmans in India. I just learned recently that there's only 40 people that have ever completed an Ironman, and I think only one woman. I was having a conversation with her today. Just being and driving out on those roads and seeing the conditions, I don't know that we could do an Ironman here. That would be a challenge, but if there was an Ironman in India, I'd probably come and do it.
So what is the next big challenge in front of you?
Yeah, physically and mentally, I don't have a challenge set. It would take something really special to get me to do something again. But right now the challenge is going around the world and speaking and sharing my story. I think it's an incredible challenge. I think it's a worthy challenge, and I now get the opportunity to empower people and make a difference.
Yeah, that's what I heard your talk, and it was very inspiring. And so how do you do that? What kind of information do you think of putting into your speech, and how do you think it will inspire people who want to come into triathlon?
Yeah, for me, I didn't sit down and just say these are the 5 things I want people to learn. because everybody's on a different part of their own journey. And so I wanted to just share my story and then to let the members of the audience take whatever pieces of that story they needed. And so far it's worked really well. I just tell my story from the heart. And then people pick up different parts of it, and it's been really impactful. The feedback's been really, really great.
You have been mentioning about your family during your speech, and you said that they have been always traveling with you all along your journeys. And so, when there isn't a challenge, then there is a huge vacuum. So, I think your family is also a bit bored now. So, how do they cope up?
Yeah, my family's been a huge support for me. They've supported me the whole time. They come on a lot of the races for me. But I've got 5 young kids, and they're in school right now, and so they can't travel with me to these incredible countries. And I miss them. But we use Skype, and I get to talk to them all the time. So technology is really cool. But yeah, they're in school, but I miss them. I can't wait to go home.
So, do you train any of your kids to triathlon? Are they interested in it?
My oldest girl likes to run. But the other ones like different sports, and so I don't push them to do what I love. I want them to do what they love, and so they do all different sports: volleyball, gymnastics, baseball. So they're playing different sports that they like.
So we know people, who plan to go to gym one day, and after 10 days they drop it. So, like, what would your tip to start slow and simple, or how would you advise them?
Yeah, start slow and simple and get a support group, meaning team up with a buddy, because I know I train with my 2 really good friends, and a lot of days I don't want to get up early and go to the gym, but I know at least one of them is going to be there. And so because of that, ultimately all 3 of us end up always showing up because we don't want to let the other person down. So a good support group is very important.
All right, so finally to the viewers, what would your advice would be?
My advice would be, in life,
Yeah.
just have incredible amounts of gratitude for what you're doing. I like to say that 10% of life is what happens to us, and 90% is how you choose to react to it. You have a choice, and I choose an attitude of gratitude.
Thank you so much, James. All the best. Thank you.
Thanks.